Sure.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructures, how we can provision the infrastructure,
Mm.
and how we can do it manually, and how we can do it like as a code, using a code. We have like open source tools for that, and we can either use some open source tools for like maintaining and provisioning the infrastructure, or
Mm.
else we can use the default ones which the cloud providers have.
Mm.
So some of the examples we have discussed was one of the tool was Terraform. So we have
Yes, yes.
see the more in detail about Terraform. So previously we have discussed some default tools from AWS, which was CFT,
Mm.
CloudFormation,
Mm.
and from Azure some ARM.
Yes, yes.
So basically we have discussed how infrastructure is maintained, and how we can like scale up or scale down.
Ah. So now you understood the how to. So for example, this is the AWS. What this is, guys? This is a AWS cloud. So this is the AWS cloud. Now you understand how to connect to the cloud. How to connect to the cloud, guys? So one is, so how we can connect the AWS cloud? So let's see.
Yes, sir.
So how you, so did you created the account in the AWS console?
Yes, sir.
You already created, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how you can connect AWS?
We can connect AWS through one is a root user.
Hmm. Root user. Abdul.
I either like manually.
Manually means?
Manually means via console.
Very good. Console. This is UI or GUI. Okay. So other way is
CLI.
That one is
very good. AWS
CLI.
CLI.
CLI. So now you understood the part of how to connect to the console, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So the task is, guys, task is, so how to connect, the AWS cloud through CLI. So this is the task, guys. You guys can try it. How to connect the AWS CLI, how to connect the AWS CLI. Okay. You guys just try. So you guys can try it how to connect the AWS CLI. Okay. So AWS services, which service is completed, guys?
EC2.
EC2 is EC2 completed. So today we'll discuss about the IAM service. So so after that we will discuss about the Terraform, guys. After that, so we will discuss about the Terraform, because of so if you want to connect through Terraform, definitely we need to know IAM. We need to know the IAM. Okay. So today we'll discuss about the IAM service. Then immediately we'll connect to the Terraform. So EC2 service. For example, you want to launch a EC2 instance. What is the service, guys? Service EC2. What is that? So what is the service we completed? So EC2 compute service is completed. But we know manually how to launch the instance. How to launch the instance manually? We know it manually. We know how to launch the instance. How to launch the instance, but how to launch the instance through code is a question mark. We don't know how to launch the code. How to launch the how to launch the EC2 instances through code, we don't know. We'll let you know once IAM service completed. So once IAM service completed, so you will understand how to guys, tell me how to launch the EC2 instance via code. So via code. So for example here, via code is the question mark. So via code is the question mark. So whatever the services we are telling in the AWS, right? All the services, all AWS services. So all the services will connect and access via console and CLI, AWS CLI. So we can connect. So we can connect two ways. So we can connect two ways. So what is IAM, guys? What is IAM? What is IAM? So IAM is the what is IAM? Noor?
IAM is a service provided by AWS which is called identity and access management. So it will allow permissions like what user can access, what the user cannot access, and we can set all the parameters and we can set all permissions to the users, and we can set permissions to groups as well, like which particular group has. We
So
can write
I think
policies.
yes, very good. So IAM is looks like in Linux user administration. What is that, guys? User administration. So you understood, right? You know, right? The Tulasi, you know, right? That user administration. So
Yes,
yeah. So what we discussed in the user administration, we discussed about the
group
groups,
user,
group,
other
user,
users,
users, right? So groups and users. Users will be two types. One is admin user. So the other one is a
normal user,
non-admin,
non-admin user, or other
non-admin
users.
users, other users, right? So IAM we are discussing about the non-admin users, so groups. But here, so there is a two separate concept, two separate entities will be discussed. Those are policies and roles. Policies and roles. So what is policies and what are the roles? You already know, right? You already discussed about the groups and users. The same way here also. So here also, so we are discussing about the users, policies, groups and roles. So now you understood, right? So Linux administration, we have two types of users. One is admin user. The other one is non-admin user. Here admin user is something like a root user, right? So root
user.
Yeah. So we can connect the console, a root user or a. So here IAM user is nothing but a non-admin user. IAM user is nothing but a non-admin user. IAM is stands for identity and access management. Identity and access management. Identity and access management. So you already know, right? So we can connect the console manually either two ways. One is root user, the other one is IAM user. One is root user, the other one is IAM user. And now you understood, right? So this is a console root user and the IAM user. IAM user. So we are discussing now IAM user. IAM user is nothing but a identity and access management user. Now you already know, right? So IAM user is nothing but a normal user. IAM user is nothing but a normal user group. So what are the groups are there? For example, Linux group, Linux engineers group, or cloud engineers, or DevOps engineers, or developers. So right, so for example, Linux engineers having, so Linux engineer having 3 people are there. Okay, and the cloud engineer. So cloud engineer having 2 people. DevOps engineer having, for example, 5 people or 4 people are there. DevOps engineers. Okay, so developers also something like a 5 or 4 engineers. So whatever the created, right? This Linux engineer having 3 people. So whatever the permissions we set for the Linux engineer is, and those permissions will be assigned to the allow engineers. This engineers also. So guys, understood? IAM is nothing but a identity and access management. IAM stands for a identity and access management. Yeah. So we already discussed it, right? The it's AWS cloud computing platform. So something like, what is that? So global infrastructure, the global infrastructure availability zones, regions, edge locations, foundation service. What are the foundation services, guys? Compute, storage, database, and networking. These are the foundation services. So application services, content distribution, messaging, parallel processing, libraries. So management and administration. So who will manage this application? Who will manage this AWS cloud? So something like a administration console. So root access, the administration console is nothing but a root access. So identity access, identity and access is nothing but a, so something like a non-admin user. You want to give a particular permissions to a particular users. So we will provide the identity access. We'll provide the identity access. As understood? So global infrastructure, foundation services. What are the foundation services? Amazon EC2 auto. So Amazon EC2 auto scaling, S3 EBS gateway glaciers, RDS DynamoDB, SimpleDB, networking, notification, email library, workflow, search. So the IAM. IAM is nothing but identity and access, administration interface, management console. Yeah, root access. This is the IAM access. So how we can provide the IAM access? I will tell you. Noor, now you understand? You already know, right? Noor?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So the module 4 is nothing but identity and access management. What is that? Identity and access management. Introduction to identity and access management. Understanding the IAM console. Creating and managing security group. Creating and managing users. Managing the user passwords and secret key ID. Creating and managing roles. Understanding and managing policies. Understanding the multi-factor authentication. User login process. So what is IAM? IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. So what is that, guys? IAM stands for Tulasi. What is IAM?
Identity and access management.
Identity and Access Management. IAM is a web service that enables you to manage user and group permissions in AWS. IAM is a web services that enable you to manage users and group permissions in the AWS. Okay. It manages the users and group permissions in AWS. It is targeted at organization with multiple users or systems that use AWS products such as Amazon Elastic Cache Compute, Amazon Relational Databases Services, Amazon AWS Management Console. So why we go for IAM? To avoid a security and a logistical headache. So we have already that root user access, right? So we can give this root user access to everyone, right? So why we need a IAM? Abdul, why we need a IAM?
basically, when you have an organization, you have like multiple people working for you,
Mm,
and you have some sensitive information, some confidential information, and you don't want that to get accidentally deleted or removed by someone who is working on that project. So you set some parameters, you set some policies.
mm,
So who will have those permissions to access that file, to read
mm,
that file, or to delete that file. So that is why we need like access management, everything.
mm.
And using this service, we can like set all those permissions and policies.
Ah. So for example, so in our company, everyone using AWS. For example, developer using for the development servers access. So for example, RDS, DBA people accessing only database services. For example, cloud engineers need all the administration permissions. So DevOps engineers only very access with the EKS, Elastic Kubernetes service. Some other QA team only access with the some of the tools. But if you give the root access to the all the engineers, so definitely they will destroy something. So that's the reason. So we want to give developers, we will give only the access of the which service, particular service. So for example, developers want say S3 and EC2, we will give that permissions to that users, then only then so the users will not sorry, the users we will not connect the other services, something like IAM or RDS or something like EKS services, the remaining services. So the developer only access to the EC2 services. So we will give only EC2 services to the developers, so they will not access the other services. So that are the so those are the permissions, that type of permissions we will give it to the users. So that is the reason IAM comes into the picture. That is the reason IAM comes into the picture, to avoid a security and logistical headache. Why we create an AWS account? When we create an AWS account, it has permission to do anything and everything with all the resources. So when you create an AWS account, it has a permissions to do anything and everything with all the resources. IAM allows you to limit access. So what we will give? IAM allows you to limit access as needed and gives you the peace of mind that approved people are accessing the right resources, in the desired manner. Guys, understood? So these Linux engineers only access to the which service, guys? So for example, EC2 service. These people only access the EC2 EC2 service. Understood? So the remaining services will not access this. So through IAM, how they are giving? They are giving through the IAM. Through IAM. Guys, understood? So that is the reason IAM comes into the picture. So that is the reason. So Linux engineers only access the EC2 instances. So Linux engineers only access the EC2 instances. So this is the purpose. They are creating a IAM users. They are creating a IAM user. So the policies is nothing but a services. Giving the policies. The services attached, the services attached to the policies. Okay, so for example, Linux engineers is the group. This group, for example, what is the group, guys? Group is Linux engineers. For example, what is the group, guys? Guys, speak out. What is the group?
Linux engineer.
Linux engineer. For example, Linux engineer is the group. So in the Linux engineers, so who are there?
There are three people.
There are three people are there. For example, Noor, Uday, Tulasi. Uday, Tulasi. So we created a users. So these are the users. What this is, guys? This is the users. So what this is? This is a group. This is a group. So we are giving the access to. So we are giving the access to services. So we are giving access to the services. For example, these groups provide a attached easy to full access. Easy to full access. So this is nothing but a policy. What this is, guys? This is a policy. So this is a policy. This is a group. This is a users. Guys, now you understood? So now you understood the, so now you connect the dots. So users are attached to the group, groups are attached to the policies. Policies is nothing but a services. So policies are attached to the services. Services. Understood? Noor.
Yes, sir.
Yes, right? Now you got it, Tulsi?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So IAM is nothing but a console, administration console. How we can, so identity and access management, how you can provide the policies, how you can provide the group, how we can provide the users permissions. Okay. Yeah. So here user, right? For example, yeah. So user, so users, how you can create the users? So we can create the users. So for two types, users can be two types. So something like a normal IAM access, IAM access purpose, or something like a console access purpose. One user is console access purpose. The other something like the other users are programmatic access. So there are two types of users. So one is IAM access, the other one is programmatic access. So console access and programmatic access. So for the console access, so we will create the secret key and access key. So we will create a secret key and access key for the, so secret key and access key we will create for the programmatic purpose. We will create a secret key and access key. We will create a secret key and access key. For console access, what we will go, so we will provide the username and password. What is that, guys? Username and password. Username and password. Now we understood, guys. So for console access purpose, we will give. So for the console access purpose, so we will provide username password. Or for the programmatic access purpose, so we will provide a access key and secret key. So we'll provide a access key and a secret key. So how we will connect? We AWS CLI. So we need to create the access key and a secret key. So programmatic access, right? So we need to launch the EC2 instance through code. Code is nothing but a programmatic access. So what we need, guys? We need a access key and a secret key. What we need? We need a access key and secret key to connect the AWS CLI. So how you can connect the AWS CLI? So how you can connect the, guys, listen carefully. Okay. For this purpose, what you need? For this purpose, what you need?
Username and password.
username, password, username, and here. So for this purpose, username and password. So for this purpose, what you need, guys?
Access key and secret key.
Secret key and secret key and access key. So for this purpose, we need a username and password. For this purpose, we need a access key and secret key. Access key and secret key. Now you understood, guys.
Yes, sir. This is means the key pairing. This is what, sir? This is the same.
What
So
is this?
Key pairing. Key pairing.
It's looks like. So it looks like key pairing. I will tell you. Okay, now.
Okay, sir.
So this is a programmatic. For the programmatic access purpose, we need a secret key and access key. For the console purpose, we need a username and password. Password is nothing but a something like a secret key, something like a key pair, that public or private key. Here we are using the key pair. Here we are using the secret key and access key for connecting the AWS CLI. So connecting the through AWS CLI. Guys, understood? No.
Sure. So
Yes.
there is also one more way to connect to the AWS cloud, right?
What
I
is
think
that?
only the developers use that, like through APIs.
Through API. APIs also we can connect it.
But mostly we use this either via console or the CLI, the
We use
command line interface.
yes. So we can use now we understood, right, guys? This is the task for you guys. How to connect the AWS cloud 3 CLI. So now you understand the how to create the access key and secret key. What
Yeah.
you guys can do, you guys can try with how to connect the AWS CLI. So you
So,
guys can search it in the Google, YouTube, whatever it may be, guys. But I need from you guys. Definitely we need to connect the AWS CLI.
So
So
basically, you can like this access key, you can say it as the SSH access.
access key, secret key is nothing but a. So before that there is no API. How the programmatic access? Something like I want to connect the database server to application servers. So they created a one username and they created a secret key and access key. So they will connect it from the something like database to AWS. So sorry, database to application server. So they used the secret key and access key. So nowadays we are using the APIs, but so before that we are using a secret key and access key only.
I mean, like the SSH client, which we share to open remotely, it comes as a under the access key part, right? So the SSH client.
SSH client is from this side,
Okay, the console side.
console side, right?
Okay.
SSH client is nothing but a putty, super putty, mobile extreme, M remote ng. So these
Okay.
all are the SSH clients, right?
Okay.
Okay, guys, now you got the clarity,
Yes,
the
sir.
IAM, right? So very simple, guys. Nothing to worry about it. So everything is you already done with AWS Linux, right? So they developed if they're thinking as a Linux engineer, Linux, and they created the console, guys. So they created the consoles. Nothing worry about it. It's a very easy. So very easy or not, right, guys? So let's see. You understand, right? IAM policy, how it,
Yes, sir.
what you need to.
So, sir, here, what is the exact meaning of console?
Console is nothing but a API. So what this is?
Application programming interface.
Console, AWS console, console access, website. Yeah. So they enabled before that there is the MFA is optional, but now, so definitely we need to enable the MFA. MFA is nothing but a multi-factor authentication. We can connect the server the two ways. 194.798. Submit. Yeah, I connected with AWS. So how I connected with AWS? Through console access. So console access is a UI. So UI is nothing but a GUI, graphical user interface. This is a graphical user interface. I want to connect this AWS through CLI. I want to connect this through CLI. How we can connect it? This is the task for you guys, right? Tulasi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So IAM allows you to limit access and as needed it gives you the peace of mind that approved people are accessing that right resource in the desired manner. Right? Why we go for IAM? So IAM will allow you to create a multiple users with individual security credentials and permissions. IAM will allow to create a multiple users with individual security and credentials and permissions. With this IAM, each user is allowed to only what they need to do. What they need to do. For example, this guy EC2, this guy storage, this guy is RDS. So why we go for IAM? Each user in AWS account must have a unique set of credentials to access the console. If I access the root user, right, directly I can do anything. Because of I am a cloud engineer or I am a administrator. I can do anything. But a developer will give the root access. No, will not give the root access to the developers. So we'll give a certain limit of permissions, right? So different types of user have a different set of permissions. Administrator, system operation engineers, developers. Administrators need to access all the resources, but Amazon EC2, Amazon RDS, Amazon S3. Developers need only access to the Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud EC2. So we'll give only Amazon Asset EC2 access. So what is IAM? So we can use IAM to create a unique user for each employee and I define their permissions. So Adele, Bob, Dev, administrator, system operations, and developers. So what is a group? A group is a collection of IAM users. After you set the permissions on a group, those permissions are set to the all the users in the group. Even if we create a user, we need to use groups to set the permissions. We need to manage access for number of if groups instead of managing access for every individual user. How you can create a group? You can create a group via go to the identity and access management. So and create a group. So we can create the group and attach the policies. Policy I already told you, right? Policy is nothing but a services. Which type of service you, which type of service access you need. So we'll set it in the policies. So review the group. So if you want to change the group name, you can group. You can, if you want to delete the group name, you can delete it. Add users to the group. You can easily add users to the group. I will show you. Select users to the add group. Creating a user. How you can create the user? We can create a user by using access scan secret key programmatic access. How to delete it? Managing user password. So right here we can assign the auto assign password or we need to provide the password. Okay. So managing access keys, how you can managing the access keys. So use the default password settings, how you can set the default passwords, understanding the roles. So roles, right? So creating a role. For example, I'm create a role, enter a role name. You cannot edit the role name after role is created. For example, I created a sysadmin role, right? So select a role type, sysadmin role. So we need to select the type of the services access. Something like we need to select the EC2 instances. Hello EC2 instances call AWS service on behalf of so Active Directory, Lambda, config, attaching policies to the role. So for example, so we can select the role and system administrator role or something like whatever the role, you can attach that policies to a role. So Amazon SNN role, you can attach that policies to the a role. Something like a group attached to that. So we can attach it to that group. So multi-factor authentication. So multi-factor authentication or MFA. MFA provides additional security by returning users to use a password and an authentication code from an external device. So MFA is especially recommended for the AWS root accounts and account administrator permission, since they have access to all the resources. So login process, something like a parent account or IAM user. So IAM user we can attach to the policies. The policies. Yeah. So now we understood, right? What is that service, guys? IAM. I'm searching in the services. IAM service. IAM service. So what the service, guys? IAM service. So the IAM is a global access. IAM is the global service because of. So if you create the IAM rule, IAM user or group or something like a policy, so it will be attached to the all the regions. IAM is a global. The remaining services are all the specific to the regions. Specific to the regions. One user. I'm deleting the group. Users also have created, right? Are user created? Cancel. I'm deleting this user also. Here it is asking a confirmation. You are trying to delete array user. Yes. Yeah. So IAM service. What are their user groups, users, roles, policies? What is that? User groups, users, roles, policies. Okay. Yeah. I want to create a user. How you can create, guys? Create a user. So what is the username, guys? Hari is the user. You see, provide a user access to the AWS management console. Yes, if you want to provide a AWS access, so this are you providing a console access to the person? Specify username, identity center, or I want to create a IAM user. For example, I am creating a IAM user. So generating a auto-generated password or custom password. I'm creating a custom password. So something like what is the must be at least 8 characters long, must include at least 3 of the following mixed character types: uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and symbols. Okay, what I am giving? I am giving a red hat. Red hat at the rate 123. Okay, so user must create a new password at next sign in recommended. So I'm not asking it to create a new password. Okay, creating the. So add user to the group, copy permissions, or attach policies. Create a user. You see, so user is created. So this is the console access. What this is, guys? So this is a console access. You see, so this is the URL for the IAM. This is the URL for the IAM. So this is the username. This is the password. I want to connect through IAM. Okay. I'm not providing any access, any policy. Hurry, sign in. Yeah, guys. So you see, right? access denied, access denied. I'm trying to connect to the EC2 census. See guys, so I'm not providing any access to this user. See, so when I'm trying to access anything, it is showing something like a access denied, right? So I want to attach a policy to this user. So for that, I will create a user. So user, right? For that, I will create a use group. Create a group. Yeah. So group is nothing but a. So I'm creating a group called as a DevOps. So DevOps groups. So name of the group. I am attaching a group to the Hari user, and the policies is administrative access or something like EC2 full access. So Hari user or whoever in the group in this group, the only people access only EC2 full access. EC2 full access. Right? Created the DevOps groups. So he created the DevOps group and attached Hari to the group and attached Hari to this group. Okay. Let's go to this. Yeah. So now you see guys, instances. So if you want to launch instance, we can launch instance because of so Hari user or this group having only EC2 full access. So let's try to access other one, RDS. Databases. You see guys, unable to. Hari user is not authorized to perform. So I'm trying to access S3 bucket. S3 bucket. Create a bucket. Buckets. Yeah. So you don't have a permission to list the buckets. So you don't have a permissions to list the buckets. So only which access I provided? I provided only EC2 access. So we can create, delete everything in the EC2. We can create everything we can do it. So the only permission I gave EC2 full access. I gave EC2 full access. Understood? Guys, understood? Yeah. So in the users, if you go to the users, something like so this is the user, right? In the users, the security credentials, if you go to the security credentials and you see, so console sign in, how you can sign into the AWS IAM account. This is the IAM console, and assign a MFA device if you want to can assign MFA device, and so create a access key and secret key or something like upload SSH public keys or generate credentials, something like get credentials. So we are using access key and secret key, right? Multi-factor authentication. You already know multi-factor authentication. Access keys. Use access key to send programmatic calls to AWS. So what is this? Use access keys to send programmatic calls to AWS from the AWS CLI. AWS tools for a PowerShell, SDK, or direct AWS API calls. You have a maximum of 2 access keys at a time. So no access keys as the best practice. Avoid using long-term credentials like access keys. Instead of use tools which are provided by the short-term credentials. So how you can create the access key and secret key. So something like a use for CLI. Yes. So we want to access the AWS CLI purpose. We will create the access key and secret key. Our local code, our application running on the AWS compute service, third-party service, application running on the outside of the AWS, or other. So for our purpose, we are using the command line interface. So what is that? So we will connect the AWS CLI. So go to the next. So yes, I understand the above recommendations. Want to proceed, create an access key. So description tag, no need to agree with it. So Yeah, you see, access key and secret key created. So access key and secret key created for the RE user. So how you can connect with the AWS CLI? How you will connect with the AWS CLI, guys? So you will connect with AWS CLI through access key and secret key. So now you understood how to create the access key and secret key. So for the user, so we will create a access key and secret key for connecting through AWS CLI. If you want to connect through AWS CLI, definitely we need a access key and secret key. So if you want to use it, you can download it, guys. So if you want to use it, you can download it. So this is the secret key. So this is the secret key. You guys can remember this. Okay. So now you understood, right? How to create the access key and secret key. So on policies. So what are the policies? Policies are something like administrative access. So this administrative access. So if you want something like a cloud administrators, so they want access to the all the AWS services. Then we will provide the AWS administrative access. AWS administrative access. Right, only EC2 or only RDS access, RDS full access. We will give the RDS full access or something like S3 full access. S3 full access. We will provide the S3 full access. Okay. So a role or something like if you create a role, is already created the roles, right? EKS for that purpose, Elastic Kubernetes purpose, I use it to create a role. For example, I am creating a role for the AWS account purpose or AWS service purpose or AWS account purpose. For example, AWS account purpose. So this account require MFA, required any additional ID, no need. Yeah. So we will provide the administrative access or something like a. So yeah, we are providing the administrative access. Next, role name. What is the role name, guys? DevOps is the or cloud administrators. So cloud administrator role, create a role. Yeah. So role is created. This role is for the administrator, something like a cloud administrator. Who are the cloud administrators? So we will provide this access to the cloud administrators. Cloud administrators, guys.
Sir, regarding this role, I have
Hmm.
one.
Yes, yes.
If I have to take up that role, if I have to assume that role for myself,
Hmm.
so I have to ask the admin first, or else just I can like directly take up that role. Is it available in the console? Like I can directly take that role as my role.
Yeah, so you joined as a something like a DevOps engineer. Based on your designation, your role will be there. Your will be so based on your designation. So for example, you are a cloud administrator. They will give the cloud administrator access. So if you are a developer, for example, they will give only EC2 access what they are defined in the company.
Okay.
For example,
I'm sorry. So for taking up that role, do I have to be a user first?
yeah, definitely you user.
I have to become a user first. They have to
Then
make me a user, then they have to give me that role. Then
yes.
okay.
Guys, understood, right? So for example, you have a multiple AWS accounts. So we can provide that user is global, right? So you have any number of AWS accounts. So you can connect via AWS IAM also. Guys, understood?
Yes.
Yeah. So now you can create a AWS account, AWS access scan secret key. So then you can try to access the AWS cloud through AWS CLI. So what you need to do, I think we need to install the AWS CLI. Then we can connect via GitLab CLI or something like Git Bash, or you can use PowerShell also. So in our Windows you are using, right? So in the PowerShell also you can connect the AWS, guys. You guys can try it. So how you can connect AWS CLI? How you can connect by using access key, secret key? You can connect AWS CLI. Understood, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. So we'll continue from tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll show you the Terraform things. We'll show you the Terraform. Yeah.
Okay.
1 second. I'm showing something. Yeah. IAC tools, right? Something like exploring Terraform. So what is a Terraform? How you can connect the Terraform? How you can launch the instances? So we'll show you tomorrow. Okay, na? So the first EC2 with the Terraform. So something like we can provide the provider and we can use the access key and secret key. Then we can create the AWS instance. So we'll show you guys. Now you understood, right? How to launch the instances, how to launch the services in the by using AWS console. So from tomorrow onwards, so you will understand. So how you can launch the how you can launch the service through code also. Through code also. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. So we'll continue from tomorrow.
Thank you.